Is America really as self-reliant as it seems? What happens when our friendly neighbor to the north, Canada, decides to shift its economic focus? Can some parts of the USA survive without the financial fuel coming from Canadian dollars? In today's video, we're diving deep into an economic truth that often goes unnoticed: the silent power of Canadian dollars driving parts of America. Whether it's through tourism, property investments, seasonal migration, or cross-border trade, Canadian cash keeps entire regions of the USA afloat, and without it, the collapse of local economies isn't just possible, it's probable. Think about it. Millions of Canadians cross the border every year, pumping billions into hotels, restaurants, shopping centers, and real estate. Entire towns in Florida, Arizona, and even northern border states thrive on this steady flow of income. But what if, due to policy changes, global economic shifts, or simply a weaker Canadian dollar, that flow stopped? What would happen to those states? Welcome to Journey Unfolded, where we reveal the hidden economic gears that keep nations moving. If you're passionate about global insights, cross-border connections, and the shocking truths behind international finance, then this video is for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community for more videos just like this. Let's unravel the truth behind the Canadian dollar's impact and count down the 10 US states at risk of collapse without Canadian dollars. Number 1. Florida, the Canadian snowbird capital. Why do thousands of Canadians flee to Florida every winter? What's the real impact of this seasonal migration on Florida's economy? Florida tops this list, and for a good reason. Known for its sunshine and sandy beaches, it's the ultimate destination for Canadian snowbirds retirees who spend the harsh winter months in the warmer South. Cities like Fort Lauderdale, Naples, and Clearwater experience population booms between November and April, driven by these temporary Canadian residents. But it's not just tourism. Canadians have invested heavily in real estate, own vacation homes, and support local businesses. If the Canadian dollar weakens or cross-border travel gets restricted, Florida could see a sharp economic decline, especially in hospitality, real estate, and retail sectors. Number 2. Arizona, desert dreams fueled by Canadian dollars. Can the dry deserts of Arizona thrive without the cold cash of the Canadian North? What happens to Arizona's booming housing market if Canadian buyers pull out? Arizona has become another favorite for Canadian retirees and vacationers. With its lower cost of living and stunning landscapes, the state sees a massive influx of Canadians buying property and spending seasonally. Cities like Phoenix and Tucson benefit immensely. The real estate market, medical services, and even local tourism rely heavily on this flow. A sudden stop in Canadian investment could bring the housing bubble crashing down in certain areas. Add in fewer Canadian tourists, and you have a recipe for economic slowdown. Number 3. New York, cross-border trade dependency. Is New York's economy truly safe without Canada's input? How much do border states really rely on Canadian trade? New York shares a long border with Canada and enjoys one of the most significant trade relationships in America. Cities like Buffalo and Niagara Falls are hubs of Canadian tourism and commerce. Canadians frequently cross the border to shop, dine, and even fill their gas tanks. If border policies change or trade volumes drop, the impact would be instant. Businesses in northern New York could shutter. Thousands of jobs, from retail to logistics, are at risk if the Canadian dollar dries up. Number 4. Michigan, automotive and agricultural ties. How strong are Michigan's economic ties with Canada? Can Detroit's recovery survive without cross-border business? Michigan, especially Detroit, has deeply intertwined automotive and industrial relationships with Canada. Over $20 billion in goods move across the Ambassador Bridge every year. That includes auto parts, machinery, and agricultural products. A collapse in this trade, due to currency issues or policy shifts, would cripple Detroit's fragile economy and threaten jobs in manufacturing, logistics, and farming. Michigan's economic engine can't run smoothly without Canadian fuel. Number 5. Maine, a quiet state loudly dependent on Canadian tourists. Is the quiet beauty of Maine quietly hiding its financial dependence? Can its tourism industry weather a Canadian drought? Maine's economy thrives on summer tourism, especially from Canadians living in Quebec and New Brunswick. Coastal towns, seafood restaurants, and small businesses get a huge seasonal boost. Without Canadian visitors, many of these businesses wouldn't survive. In 2020, when borders shut during the pandemic, Maine saw firsthand how quickly things could unravel. Number 6. Vermont. Cross-border culture, cross-border cash. Can Vermont's charm survive without Canadian charmers? How deep do the financial ties go? Like Maine, Vermont depends on Canadian tourists, but also has strong cultural and business connections with Quebec. Festivals, skiing resorts, and artisan markets attract a steady stream of Canadians. If that flow is disrupted, Vermont would face job losses, business closures, and a weakened state economy. The interdependence is deep and risky. Number 7. California. Surprising, but true. Wait, what? Does California really rely on Canadian money? How much influence do Canadians have in the Golden State? Yes, even California makes the list. It's not about mass migration, but about investment. Canadian companies and private investors pour billions into tech, real estate, entertainment, and infrastructure. From San Francisco to Los Angeles, Canadian pension funds and businesses are deeply embedded in the economy. Pull out those dollars, and tech startups could collapse, housing markets could shake, and California's stability could face a surprising threat. Want more shocking truths like this? Then don't forget to tap that bell icon and turn on all notifications after you subscribe. We bring stories the media doesn't tell you. Number 8. Minnesota, quietly intertwined with Canadian commerce. Plus, is Minnesota just a passive border state? Or is it secretly dependent on Canada? Could the land of 10,000 lakes be in trouble? Minnesota and Canada share more than just lakes and forests. They share extensive trade networks in agriculture, lumber, and mining. Cities like Duluth and International Falls see frequent movement of goods and workers. If Canadian investment or trade slows, industries in northern Minnesota could take a serious hit, threatening the livelihoods of thousands. Number 9. North Dakota, an energy-driven relationship. How important is Canada to North Dakota's oil and energy sector? Can the state's economy survive a financial blackout? North Dakota's energy sector, particularly oil and natural gas, is closely tied with Canadian infrastructure and exports. Pipelines, trade deals, and shared technology all play a role. If Canadian dollars and cooperation disappeared, the state's energy market could suffer, disrupting production and costing jobs. Number 10. Washington State, more than just a border friend. Can Washington State's thriving cities survive without British Columbia's support? What makes this border so critical? Washington and British Columbia enjoy one of the closest economic partnerships across the entire Canada-USA border. From Seattle to Vancouver, the flow of tourists, goods, and services is intense and consistent. Tourism from British Columbia alone contributes millions each year. And in areas like shipping, clean energy, and seafood exports, Canada is a primary partner. A sudden stop in Canadian interaction would leave Washington vulnerable in unexpected ways. So, what does this all mean for America? The truth is simple. While the USA might seem economically indestructible, the reality is that some of its states are far more fragile than we think, especially when we consider their silent dependence on Canadian dollars. From the beaches of Florida to the borders of Vermont, Canada plays an unsung role in keeping America running smoothly. If Canada ever pulls back, whether by choice, necessity, or economic crash, these 10 states could face serious trouble. The collapse might not be dramatic, but it would be real: lost jobs, shuttered businesses, and struggling communities. So stay informed, stay curious, and keep asking, what are the hidden forces holding the world together? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Wanderlust Ventures for more eye-opening videos like this. And let us know in the comments, which state do you think is the most vulnerable?